we are live, Derek. This is a Wednesday Fast Talk.
Yes,
live.
Something new. What are people doing at 3 o'clock on a Wednesday?
I don't know. I hope watching us.
Oh, switch to that one screen where you can see if anybody is.
Yeah.
If you could.
Okay. And we probably should post a little something on Facebook or something. So I'll do that maybe in a minute once you're talking.
Perfect.
Yeah. So we might need this a little bit taller. What do you think?
That's
Looks
good.
like maybe our heads are cut off. Oh,
Nope,
no.
we're there.
They're not at all.
Just need to go back to the one screen though so we can see.
Yeah, I know. He's kind of bossy sometimes. Husband and wife dynamics.
Yes.
We have those too.
Yes. So, in case you haven't seen us before, I'm Derek with FastlifeTV.
And I'm Brooke. We're a husband and wife team. And we are Fast Life. What am I supposed to say? I don't remember. I've done this in a couple weeks.
She's the filmer that chases me around and the family around.
Yeah, and today's our oldest daughter's birthday, so my head is not in this, unfortunately. It's in that.
That's also because we're normal people, so you have to do normal mom stuff. I just sprinted in from a fairly hectic day at work, and but we're excited to be here talking to all of you, and we just kind of wanted to make some kind of summertime announcements and maybe set up for a little bit more of a relaxing summer than what it's been. So what's the plan?
So for Fast Life, basically we're taking a break as our kids are taking a break. So for a little while you might not see new content, but we will be promoting and pushing some of the other content that maybe you've missed because you also were busy with kids and life and work and everything else. I do have a lot of things to edit and do, but we are giving ourselves a little bit of a break because I'm also working on other platforms that we can get Fast Life out on, which would reach a broader audience. And so I'm really excited as a producer about that. Being a filmmaker is really fun for me because it is a dream that I've had ever since I was younger. But it's also very challenging when you're trying to manage life, a family, being a wife, support your husband to do his dream, and many different other things that we have to do. So I have now had some interest by a mutual friend who is a very successful producer at maybe putting it out on a different platform. So we're going to be taking a little bit of time to explore that. And if that happens, I'll be required to edit together 8 to 10 episodes that are like real television, which would be 25 to 45 minutes long, which is a big job. So Derek and I have talked about continuing to do live feeds when we have interesting things to share, anything educational, maybe a new workout that Derek's working on. We'll also try to post some little workouts and things like that in between this break. But you can expect to see us back on our regular Wednesday schedule, or maybe you want to chime in on what day works for you best to see episodes released. So we will also be getting back on that schedule in probably late August to early September, depending upon what happens with the other viewing platforms that we're considering for FastlifeTV. So I hope that you wish us luck and you continue to support us on here and share our page, share some of these lives that maybe you haven't seen in full, and just talk us up a little bit with your friends. We'll be doing a big social media push when it comes down to releasing on another platform, and we'll be keeping you posted here. And for all of those filmmakers out here, we have probably more racing fans, but if any filmmakers are watching, I hope to provide some educational information about how we've done it once we've done it. So I have to get, kind of to that point before I can share anything that might be helpful in that area. So as far as racing, though, I know Derek has some news for you.
Yes. And I want to kind of go back to what you were saying, too, because I think most people that have at least watched our episodes have gotten to know us both and the kids a little bit. And it's not a surprise that Brooke is a perfectionist and she works really, really hard. And it's a lot of work doing all these episodes. And we felt like for a little while now we've been sharing a lot of the same news. So I have encouraged Brooke to step back and take a little bit of a break, kind of a refresher while we're getting things set up, so we're not just saying all the time, this is coming, this is coming, this is coming. So we're not going away, and it's a little bit scary, especially for Brooke, because she feels very responsible to bring new stuff multiple times per week, which is a ton of work. So we're saying take a little bit of a summer break like the kids get to do. And the other platform thing is super exciting. But we won't share much on that till we get there.
And we will as soon as we get there, but we want to make sure it's a sure thing before we share that information.
And then, of course, the whole racing thing is very exciting because that's the only thing I think about. I do have some stuff that is firmed up finally, and we've got some additional partners that have come to the table to help make some of it possible, and I believe that they're going to be long-term partners, which is super exciting. And along with that, I feel like there's a ton of momentum for stuff for next year. And really right now is when you should be planning for next year to have a successful season. So there's an unknown one still in August. There's a race that might come up for me in August.
And where would that be?
That one would be in Utah, at Utah Motorsports campus, which is a fun track, one that we won at last year with Jason Alexandridis and I in the car. And love that place. But I for surely have Circuit of the Americas and Pirelli World Challenge and Sprint X in the TRG Aston Martin. That's going to be September 1st through 3rd. So I'm excited, and we're getting ready for that. And you'll certainly see announcements about that, and packages that'll be coming available if anybody wants to come to the race and spectate, be a part of the team. We're going to be putting together some really cool VIP packages. And then I also have the season finale SRO race, which is tied with Pirelli World Challenge. It's an 8-hour race, October 13th through 15th at Laguna Seca.
What's SRO?
The Stefan Rotell organization.
Okay.
So the series from Europe is coming over for their season finale, tying with Pirelli World Challenge, and we get to be a part of that. So it's going to be super awesome, and I'm excited about that.
I did not know that that's what it was called, and we got to meet Stefan Rotell, who basically was one of the original founder of GT racing, sports car racing in Europe, and
that's exactly what the SRO is an organization, and it's basically a way to kind of standardize GT racing. So it's kind of made an international standardization of the classes. So you've got a GT3 class that's going to be the same whether you're in Italy or France or Texas, and a GT4 class that's going to follow, will follow suit. And at this point, the Astons kind of don't quite fit into that GT4 class, and they're grandfathered in for the rest of this season as a GTS car, and it'll be the same car that we raced last year. And then, so who knows what will happen for next year? I think we'll probably have some updated machinery, which will be exciting.
Very exciting.
Ooh, and there's other cool stuff.
I was going to say, before you move on to the next thing, we have done an interview with Stefan Rotell, so at some point, and maybe around the time that race is going to happen, we can kind of provide some information on FastlifeTV about the background history of GT racing.
I think he might actually be in part of one of the episodes that you've already put up.
I think he has a little tiny part, but I never really played the whole interview, which was really interesting because I had the opportunity to sit down with him and ask him some questions at a Pirelli World Challenge race in St. Pete last year.
Yeah.
So.
Cool guy, cool stuff.
Yeah. What were you gonna?
Oh, share? I was excited about the cool hats.
Oh yeah. Show them our hats.
We even had some in our episode, but nobody maybe knew where to get.
Has anybody bought any yet? Are they holding out on us?
I think they're holding out, but they're here now. So the FastlifeTV hats are here. They're now available, and they're on my website. We'll put a link, when we announce down below or wherever, however you do that. You're good at that site. So DerekDeBoerRacing.com. And you can go to the online store and pick up one of these super awesome hats. And
they're really nice hats. They're a nice trucker. They're a flat brim hat, snapback, comfortable, cool. And so we'd love for you to rock one and help promote us.
Yes. As you do things, they are top-notch, nice quality, good hats.
Only the best for our Fast Life fans.
That is right.
Yeah.
So, what else?
Well, so we've talked about the upcoming races. I know that you may not want to mention this because it's kind of just a maybe, but like one of the big dream races for you has always been the Daytona 24, and you ran that a couple years ago and had a very successful run there.
Mm-hmm.
And you're looking at the possibility of maybe doing that again this year. And so, can you talk a little bit about your experience at the Daytona 24 and maybe what your hopes are for this year?
Yeah, that was certainly one of the big, kind of bucket list races to do when I first started getting into racing, even and just a hobby. So it was already a dream come true to get to do it and to get to be competitive. And we had a really good run in the Aston in 2015, and missed it this year. The story that we keep telling and talking about is partnerships and sponsorship and fundraising and how important those things are. So I feel like we're a little ahead of the game, at least this year.
Mm-hmm.
And, with the Castrol partnership and Auto Lead Start partnership, and then, of course, the others that are still along, like BRM chronographs and stuff, I think we finally have a really good team behind us that's supporting, and a couple other really good conversations that are in play, and proposals, and really exciting programs that are kind of ones that give back. The Racing for Cancer partnership that we have, but we've got a couple other ones. I just can't talk about what they are yet, but if they happen, it's going to feel really good to be racing with those partners next year. And certainly Daytona is where it would start, and probably World Challenge would be a big part of things. And then, of course, Le Mans is heavy on my mind this week.
Mm-hmm.
It was just a couple years ago that we were there as a family and got to be a part of it in the Aston Martin pre-race. And, I'm seeing all of our buddies and friends that are having opportunities there right now, and we'll see them hit the track on Saturday.
The best post that I saw about Le Mans this week was a race car driver's driver suit, socks, all of his stuff hanging out on a clothesline. Of course, it was an Italian. So it was like all this Ferrari
I think
stuff,
they're maybe the only ones
driver
that still use
stuff
clotheslines.
hanging out on a clothesline. And I was like, that is just so Italian. And I remember being in Le Mans and seeing that and just thinking how much like Italy that is and how funny it is that they do that everywhere they go.
Exactly.
So I can't wait to go back to Le Mans. We had the most amazing experience in Le Mans, and we haven't even shared with you that experience yet. And of course, I have hours and hours and hours of footage of it. So you can look forward to that too at some point. And we might be redirecting you to another platform, or we might ask you to follow us on both YouTube and another platform, and to continue to share us with your friends. And again, just to bring it back to why are we doing this? We're doing this because, number one, we're having a lot of really cool experiences that are like dream bucket list experiences that it's really hard to not share. We want to share it. But number two, this is really, really hard work, and it's dream stuff. This is the stuff dreams are made of, but it requires a lot of you as a person. And so what we want to share is what it's requiring of us, and how are we managing that, and how are we hanging in there sometimes when we want to quit. Because there are lots of times Derek and I have ups and downs with this. Like, this is really hard. Like, it would be so much easier to just like go lay on a beach somewhere and like have our normal vacations and then go back to work and then do that all over again. But these dreams live within us, and every time we kind of contemplate quitting, usually we get a phone call, or we get some kind of opportunity. Maybe it's a simple little thing, or somebody says something to us to encourage us to keep moving forward. And so we've been following those leadings, and we'll continue to follow those leadings until we have a door shut that is a clear door that says you're not to go through this anymore. It's time to rest or whatever. So this rest is only temporary, because that's not what this is. We're clearly being
I can tell already you're gonna get bored resting. There's gonna be some little update, some little fun other episode that you pops out.
Yeah, and I'll throw one out there because I like that. I liked it. I love what I do, and I'm hoping that there's a greater way to share it. And I hope that it inspires you as it inspires me. Sometimes I'm creating episodes like I cry, or I feel like totally moved. And it's not so much sharing our story that moved, but like the little moments of inspiration that come from having to gut something out or work really hard or just, overcome a super big challenge to get to, a goal that you have on track or off track, because we've got goals with both. So I'm kind of rambling a bit here, but I've been studying an article which I can kind of share after the fact because I don't have a link for it on there yet. But it's called the 12 Quiet Rituals of Enormously Successful Humans. And I don't remember which number it was, but I picked one to share with you today. And the one that spoke to me this week from that article is, we learn by stretching ourselves. We learn when we are in the discomfort zone, not the comfort zone. In the comfort zone, there's no stretching, there's no growing. It's sort of like when you're running sprints or something. You do that to increase your ultimate speed, right? Because it pushes you to the limit, which then tells your body that you can handle a little bit more than you thought as far as speed. So the next time you go out running, you can run at just a tiny bit faster pace. And so the trick is, I think, to manage that so that you're not pushing yourself to the ultimate limit for too long and then not allowing rest periods. So we've built in this short rest period and wanted to share that with you, but also share with you some of the inspiration that's keeping us going and how we're managing and sort of balancing the pushing and stretching and then the resting and then pushing again. And so we encourage you guys to do that as well with whatever it is that's on your heart to do. And I do believe that God gives us all a dream in our heart and all a job. We are all born with a job and a responsibility to figure out what that is and share that with the world to make the world a better place. And so this is the stuff that we're doing.
Before you go into your quote, because I'm over here smirking because in case any of you haven't noticed, this is totally unrehearsed. But you were talking about growing through discomfort. Mm-hmm. And you and I hadn't talked about this at all, but
I'm hoping that's
yesterday.
Do you think it's really paused? I'm sorry, technical thing. Okay,
it's good.
No, it's just
yesterday I was listening to Joel Osteen, and the whole thing was about growing through discomfort, and I hadn't even talked to you about that. And he was talking about an oyster and how they make pearls, and how awesome pearls are and valuable and cool and highly sought after. And the pearl basically comes from the oyster getting some stupid, annoying sand stuck in it that it probably wishes it never had, and it was uncomfortable, and it was a process it would have preferred to skip. But after all said and done, there's this beautiful oyster at the end of the day, or a pearl.
That almost makes you cry. Like, it's not funny because it's exactly what I'm talking about. If God wants you to do something, there's going to be these little synchronistic moments where you're just like, I cannot miss your message here. And sometimes they're repeating messages, or they come to two people just like those messages came to each one of us separately, and then we're sharing them here. We literally haven't had very many down moments. We have our daughter home from college, her boyfriend's here, it's her birthday today, we have Father's Day on Sunday. We haven't had a lot of time to sit and talk about or share these inspirations. So we're grabbing our inspiration when we can, usually, which is in the early morning or late at night. So anyways, just follow those leadings when you get them. You will get them just like that if you follow your path. And so that's our advice to you today. I did want to share the quote. The best way to predict your future is to create it. So that's an Abraham Lincoln quote. You may have heard that one before. But, I mean, ultimately, we also believe that God creates a plan for us too. So maybe you're co-creating. Maybe I can just add a little bit to his quote there. But you are creating it by hard work, continuous effort, not giving up, feeding yourself with that inspiration when you need it, with gratitude. I just mentioned to Derek today that I've started to realign myself with my morning 5 things I'm grateful for ritual or habit, because I found myself getting pretty negative. And I think the last thing I'll leave you with, other than I also, sometimes when things get hard, I remind Derek that Paul Newman didn't start racing until he was 45 years old. He made quite a name for himself in racing, and we look to him.
Got lots of time yet.
Thank you, Paul Newman, for being a mentor. You can have mentors that are living and not living in this world with you at the moment. You can look to all types of people, present, past, future.
That is right.
And I just like to say a little quick prayer for the congressmen and people that were involved in the shooting today, and just let you know, and happy birthday to Donald Trump. Some of you may or may not know it's his birthday and it's Flag Day. So I just like to say I am proud to be an American, and I'm praying for peace for our country, and I hope you all are too.
And happy birthday to Paige. And we got to run to the gym, so I got to get a workout in before you do your special little birthday dinner.
I know.
So
we got a lot to do still today. But you guys have a blessed day, and we hope to see you really soon.
Bye.